Well, one of the things that I've thought a lot about is kind of reflecting on our family and the history that we have with social distancing. My daughter was diagnosed with leukemia at 2.5, about 8 years ago. And we basically had a dry run for this. We wore masks and we didn't come to church. And we dealt with having to kind of keep her from infection for the whole time that she was in treatment. And one of the things that I learned then and have relearned during this pandemic is that church isn't necessarily a building. We weren't able to come here and we weren't able to attend church in person, but that didn't mean that we didn't continue a relationship with God. And it didn't mean that we were necessarily isolated. We just were protecting ourselves. And during this pandemic, I've come to realize that there is opportunity to have a long telephone conversation or to reach out to people that I know might be struggling with isolation or with social distancing. And we've also been able to spend time with our kids and to talk to them about the lessons that can be learned floating down the Little Harpeth River, or practicing to be an acolyte at home. Big Sister Grace is teaching my twins to give communion on Sundays. One of the other things that a nurse told us very early on when Grace was first diagnosed was that the leukemia would be gone at some point, and at the end we would still have a daughter. And we needed to remember that and treat her like a child, even though she was also a patient. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." And I think that we need to remember that after all this is over, we will still have a family and we'll still have a church and we'll still have a relationship with God, because he's here now during the pandemic and he'll be here after it's over.